Greetings and welcome to Cinema Appreciation, from one film and popular culture and pop collector, hopefully to another. You can see kind of my true love for popular culture and everything that goes into kind of the movie making magic that actually we'll be talking about in Cinema Appreciation class. This class is one of my favorite classes to teach because we get to actually look at how movies are put together and deconstruct those movies to find out how are we manipulated by lighting and cinematography and mise-en-scène and makeup and settings and acting to make us believe that we were in another world. Film is one of the most amazing kind of art forms because it actively transports us to other places to have other experiences in a safe environment like we otherwise couldn't have. If you've ever seen the movie Schindler's List, winner of 12 Academy Awards, one of the most amazing films. You get to actually see what and experience a little bit what it was like to be in a Nazi concentration camp, all the horrors and disgustingness, and have those moral judgments. A few years later, he took us on a trip with Steven Spielberg to Saving Private Ryan and the storming of the beaches of Normandy, where as the American and British soldiers were actually swarming on, you could actually see the violence and the bullets flying from the Nazi Germans who actually had entrenched themselves. And you could see bloodshed and violence and this nasty destruction for 19 and 20-year-old kids that are basically your age and have a real experience of what war really looked like in that time period from World War II. So amazing. The next day, we can actually be up on an alien spacecraft, and we can be friends with the aliens like we have in Men in Black, or we can actually be where the alien is the torturer, as we see in Sigourney Weaver in one of the most famous sci-fi horror kind of films of all time, Aliens. And so we actually can see what we're going to do, how we're going to hide in the dark depths of the shadows, and how filmmakers, directors, producers, cinematographers manipulate us into those things. We're also going to look at how the best films have actually manipulated all these. And so the challenge for all of you, as it was a challenge for me, how do we objectively evaluate films versus one another versus subjectively evaluate films? And this is the challenge for all of you. Many of you will have some great, objectively wonderful, awesome films on your list. Mine, one of my favorite films of all time, Star Wars, 1977. Right, I was a product of Star Wars and grew up watching it. The lightsaber fights in the Millennium Falcon, the best gift I ever got, which we'll talk about at a later time anyway. But one of my other favorite films is Couples Retreat. Now, this is not a great film if you look at all the different standards we're going to look, but it personally speaks to me. So how do we go through that objective versus that subjective understanding of reality as film presents itself, and how do we evaluate films within it? That's the fun part of actually this class, is looking at some great films and also some not so great films that we could actually make greater if we had just manipulated different aspects. Welcome aboard. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you're as excited as I am to kind of begin our adventure together. Thank you very much, and I'll see you shortly.